This is not good at all.
Oh.
Lordy, lordy, lordy.
Danny's actually laughing at me.
I'm laughing at Wanda tonight. Usually she's laughing at me, but tonight I'm laughing at her.
Oh wait, I need to do. I've done. He's gonna have to explain that in just a second, or explain it while I'm fixing this.
Yeah, I'm sitting here watching you go through your
Motions that I'm messing
motions
up.
that you always get crooked.
All right, explain why we're laughing.
Wanda's sitting there just talking away, and I looked at her. I said, "You do realize it's after 8 o'clock?" And she just jumped.
I was reading y'all's comments, and he and I were
just
talking.
reading the comments, looking away. I said, "Wanda, you do realize it's after 8 o'clock?"
I didn't even pay any attention. I didn't have any clue that it was after 8. So.
Oh my
I don't
word!
know if that needs to come.
No. Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Okay.
I can't keep my strap up.
I don't know how it's all right, I guess. It's doing what it's supposed to do. So yesterday was our anniversary. We've been married 11 years. I told Danny some ways it seems like we've been together forever, and sometimes it feels like we just met, So 11 years.
Well, it
really
depends on what side you're looking at it from. I mean.
You think it's been a long time?
It could seem like forever. Yeah, it could.
Because we know each other so well that we forget we had past lives lots of times.
I do. I don't even think about my past life anymore.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's best not to. I'm kind of like the Lord. So I'm pressing forward, and Apostle Paul. I'm pressing forward to the mark that lies before me.
And so
I just don't know what the mark is.
We ain't found that mark yet. And so 11 years. You want to tell them how we met? Most of them know. Well, let's do this. Instead of us telling them,
yeah,
let's ask them.
You ask me something, okay?
Y'all asked us
something about. Now wait a minute. Oh, we got to clarify this now. Ask us something about our life, not about stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
and we're not going to just.
And I may not answer it. Okay, I do reserve the right to claim the Fifth Amendment. I
don't know which amendment it is.
I'm gonna claim the Fifth on some of them. Christian dating site. Yep.
Yeah, Joe Mama knows this well. Christian Mingle.
Y'all met at Christian Mingle. That's right.
So y'all asked us questions, and we will answer or not answer. And instead of
I'm gonna just sleep while you do this, okay? I've had a long day.
Instead of asking us things like how do you plant potatoes or how do you know
here's a question coming up right here. Saddle Ridge. What foods does one of you like that the other one doesn't? Well, that would be just about everything. I mean.
No. I mean, let's think about this.
Miss Wanda can eat anything and I can't. So.
But I mean, what do you like that I don't like? And I'm trying to think, what do I like? What do you like?
Chitlins.
I will not eat chitlins.
I eat chitlins.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I've eaten a lot of chitlins before.
All right, now I'm trying to think. Now I eat
she eats just
I eat a lot of things that he doesn't eat.
Right. I'm a healthy eater.
But it doesn't mean that you wouldn't eat them. I mean, it's not that you don't like them. So what would it be? I don't know of anything that Danny has never not really liked. He just doesn't eat. Like, I love candy bars and chips and stuff like this. He just doesn't eat it.
Yeah, I don't eat junk food.
But it's not that you don't like it.
No, I mean, I would eat a bowl of ice cream if I thought I could live through it. But I don't.
He don't know what it would do to him afterwards.
I don't know what it would do to me, I mean.
Not deathly, but, he just don't. And
they're asking,
crazy.
Wanda, will you eat squirrel?
Yes, I have eaten squirrel before, and I can cook squirrel, and it tastes pretty decent. Hence, when we were prepping all our prep stuffs, and I have a supply.
I know what. I will eat mushrooms, and Wanda won't.
Nope, I will not.
My former wife that passed away we used to eat mushrooms all the time.
Yeah.
And Wanda refuses to eat them. She says they're snotty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when we were prepping a lot of things, one of my biggest preps that I have is seasonings. I have a lot of Miss Lippy's Bayou blends, and then I bought before that I had taco seasonings, chili seasonings, all this kind of stuff, so I can disguise animals that I don't know if I want to eat or not.
Okay, which one of you snores? It's without a question, it's Wanda. I stayed up all night to see if I snored, and I didn't.
He does too. It's according to how tired he is.
It all depends on how tired each one of us are.
Yeah, some nights neither one of us, some nights both of us, some nights.
Okay, here's another one. Did you guys ever participate in disco when you were young? I did.
Danny had disco fever.
I used to dance a lot, yeah.
And I did not dance.
Wanda's got 3 left feet.
Yeah.
So
and I love music and I listen to disco all the time, but I did not dance. In high school, I went to a DECA convention, and everybody was dancing. And so a couple of the girls, I said, I don't know how to dance. And so they grabbed this one guy that was dancing pretty good, and he says, come over here and teach her how to dance. After a while, he threw his hands up and walked off and says, I can't. So I can't dance. But Danny can. He still can cut a rug occasionally.
I danced at my granddaughter's wedding.
Yep.
With her.
Let's see. Is there anything new that you learned to eat when you and Danny got married? Yes. I did not eat pineapples. Asparagus. What else? I know those two.
Pineapples and asparagus was the 2 big ones I know.
Avocado.
Yep, you did eat some avocado.
I didn't eat that before.
Right. Well, just about anything. Let's just say anything healthy, probably. I mean,
I ate peas, beans, and corn.
Yeah,
tomatoes, cucumbers.
She was a PBC girl.
I've learned to eat spinach. That was something.
So,
quite frankly, I wasn't really attracted to Danny.
Nope.
Well, the picture he put up, and I wish I could find it and I would show y'all what I'm talking about. He looked like somebody from the Middle East. He was very dark hair.
Well, I had to be that way because I had to blend in with my surroundings.
You stayed outside all the time, and
I know.
he was probably what 210.
I was about 230.
220, 230.
220, 230. Had a 42-inch waist.
Built.
Yeah, 42-inch waist.
Very different from now.
Very big built guy.
And when I saw the picture, I looked at it and I sent him a message and I said, I don't know if I want to date somebody from the Middle East. I'm not sure if that's
She thought I probably was a sheep herder or something.
A goat herder.
She thought I was easy.
No, it was kosher DK.
It was kosher DK, yeah.
Yeah. And all I saw was herd in the middle, and I didn't know what kosher was, so I had no clue. And he sent me a message, and his message was, I live with my mom and dad, and I help take care of my disabled brother. And he went on to more something. And I go, somebody that lives with their mom and dad? I don't think so.
Yeah,
And so I didn't answer him back for a while. And then when I did, I just said, look, I'd been on there about 3 weeks or so on Christian Mingle, and I said, I'm getting off. You messaged me before. If you want to talk to me, here's my phone number. I don't like this site.
Right.
And I didn't hear from him. It was probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 days, and then my phone rings, and he calls me.
Yes.
And that's how we got together.
That's how we met.
We're buffering bad tonight.
We are. It's going in and out. We got a lot of bad weather around us right now.
It's rained how many times today?
Oh, it has rained several times today.
Like 3 or 4 times already today. It rained yesterday a couple of times. We've gotten a good bit of rain, so we're very blessed on that.
Oh.
All right.
All right. Let's see here.
Where'd we go on our honeymoon? We didn't have a honeymoon. Wait a minute. It's buffering in and out.
It is buffering so bad tonight. I guess the weather. I mentioned Middle East too much, they said.
Probably. Don't be talking about
I can't
that.
be talking about that.
You can't be talking about your goat herd.
Yeah. But let's be honest now. I called her pastor first. And he got mad with me.
Yeah.
Because I took her away from him. Because
Well,
she was running the VBS.
well, I came out here because of some other things that was going on, so we ain't getting into all that.
Yeah.
And I just dropped the VBS. It was just in the beginning stages, so it wasn't like I was way up into it. And he got aggravated, and him and Danny got in a little argument. And
Yeah.
so, because he was wanting my pastor.
I
to
wanted
marry us.
I wanted her pastor to marry us because I'd been to
uh,
the church and he seemed like a good man.
Yeah. So then we went and talked to his pastor, and then when we got back, we didn't say anything about getting married right then. We talked to him about it, but then
Yeah.
we got back home and we were sitting there, and he says, "Do you really want to get married right now?" And I said, "Yes." And he says, "All right, right now." And he picked the phone up, called. The pastor's a friend of his. He called
he
him.
He was my friend. Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, come on, 1 o'clock." So we started, and he said, "Well, let's go." It was like 10 or 10:15, 10:30, something like that. He said, "Let's get us something to eat, and then we'll be ready to go." And I said, "We need clothes." And he said, "What do you mean clothes?" I said, "We can't just get married." He had on overalls, and I had on a T-shirt. And I'm
Yep.
like, "We can't get married like this." And so I'm going to the closet, going through to see what all he's got, and I take out a shirt, and I said, "Here, you can wear this shirt." And I pulled out a blue dress, and I said, "I'm going to wear this." He says, "We got to dress up."
So I told him, I said, "We got to dress up for this."
And I said, "We don't have any rings." And he said, "Is that required?" And I said, "Yeah, we don't have any rings." So we made this quick trip by Walmart because our town has no jewelers.
We have no
whatsoever.
jewelers in our town whatsoever.
I said, I'll settle for a Walmart ring if you'll get me a real ring later. And we went in, and your ring was too big. They didn't have the size. Or
They didn't have the size for me. Mine was a little bit big. Yeah.
And then he got me one. We just got golden bands. And I had never worn gold jewelry hardly at all in my life. I'd always had silver jewelry. Everything I had since I was a kid was silver. And so that was my first time having golden bands.
Yeah.
And then he didn't get me a ring like I thought he would. Who knows what he did get me? That's one of their trivia questions.
Oh, that's a trivia question for tonight. What did I get her for
Instead of the ring.
for your first anniversary?
Yep.
What did I? Now, this is a trivia question. What did I get her for her first anniversary
Somewhere around
present?
What did the kids think?
Well, our kids didn't really know at first.
Oh, we did have to get the marriage license. Yes, we had
Yes.
to run. We left and went and got the license, turned around, went and got married. Oh, before.
Be Nemo.
What? A lawnmower, yes.
Right there.
Be Nemo. Nemo, is that it?
Yeah, Be Nemo, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one that they need to send us.
Be Nemo, send me your address on email, deepsouthhomestead@gmail.com. What is that for?
LCE shirt.
No, that ain't what we said.
That's what you just said.
No.
What was it then?
I will send you something. Just saying.
Oh,
We got to
okay.
talk about what we sending out.
Okay.
But he did give me a lawnmower.
I did get her a lawnmower, yeah, because all I heard was I was never allowed to mow. I was
My
never.
daddy let me mow.
Her daddy let her mow, but her first husband did not let her mow, and she wanted to mow so bad, and I said, well, I'll buy you a lawnmower then, and she had her first riding lawnmower.
Okay, so what we did, because this will lead up to the next questions, is Danny a romantic? No. Not in his. We're on one of these streets, and there's this woman with a dog. At the time, Danny had
I had a West Highland White Terrier that was bred for the Queen of Spain, and
named Rufus.
and he was a male, and we were headed to the church, and we passed down this road, and this woman was getting out of a car, toting this West Highland White Terrier beautiful dog, and I slammed on brakes and pulled in real.
You started. You didn't to start with.
That's right, I didn't.
He rode by, And he says, oh, he said, I want to breed Rue. I would love to have one of Rue's puppies before something happens to him, because he was like 11, 12 years old at the time.
Yeah.
And I said, well, go back and ask the girl if that's a female. And he said, we're supposed to be getting married. And he said, we had went to Walmart first and then to the courthouse and was headed to
We were headed to the church.
And he goes, we don't have time. We got to be. I said, go ask her to take 2 seconds. So on the way to the church, we stopped to see if the dog is a male or female.
It was a female, but the lady had her fixed, and she couldn't, she couldn't have puppies or nothing. And I said, okay, thanks anyway.
And we took off.
We took off and went on to the church.
Now the witnesses was the preacher and the secretary.
And the secretary was the witness. But we had a Jewish wedding.
Yes.
And the thing about it was, the pastor did not know how to perform a Jewish wedding. And I had to walk the pastor through our wedding, step
how we
by
wanted
step,
it done up, yeah.
in order for us to be married. We were married under the huppah. For those of you who know anything about a Jewish wedding, we were married under the huppah. And normally you have 4 people to hold each corner of the talit, which we didn't have, so I had to hold it all up with my arms like this the whole time the ceremony was going on. I mean, I felt like
That was funny.
I felt like Moses or something,
And we got absolutely no pictures.
No, we had no pictures.
We didn't even think about it. There were no pictures, no nothing. The whole time we got married, Danny, the preacher signed the birth certificate, the marriage license. He said, I'll send this off next week. Danny says, no, give it back to me. We're taking it ourselves. And Danny and the preacher josh back and forth. He says, oh, so you don't trust me? And Danny says, no way. I want it recorded now.
I said, I want my wedding and marriage recorded now. I ain't waiting on you, brother. And I took it back to the courthouse, and the lady in the courthouse looked at me.
She laughed.
Because she knows me. And she looked up at me and she says, what are you doing? I said, I'm bringing the marriage license back. She said, well, you just got them. I said, yep, and I'm bringing them right back. And she didn't know quite how to take it, and then all of a sudden...
She said, nobody does
She says, the pastor's supposed to bring them back. I said, not mine. I said, I'm bringing them back myself. And she busted out laughing. She said, only you would do this.
And we told the kids right after we got home. We called all of them and told them.
Yeah.
They knew we were getting married, and my girls were actually looking for a dress for a big wedding. They were planning a big wedding. And the pictures they sent were horrible. I hope my kids are listening, because those dresses were horrible. And I told Danny they were nothing like what I'd want, and I think they were doing it on purpose. They would send the ugliest dresses I've ever seen, and when they were shopping, they'd say, Mom, is this the dress? No. So, we eloped basically to keep, because Danny kept saying, we need to narrow it down. I said, I got a lot of friends.
Yeah, because she had a lot of people to come, and I didn't want nobody there.
He said, well, my kids, and his mom and dad, his brother, he had a few people.
Yeah.
And 3 or 4 friends. He said, I might invite them, but he said, that's it. And I'm like, I got kids, mom and dad, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, people I've worked with. He said, you just went up to several hundred people.
Yeah.
And I said, well, let's just forget it. Let's just get married.
Yeah, I'm not into all that big stuff like that. I'm a simple kind of guy. I like to stay to myself. I don't want, I'm pretty much out of the system, now, and I don't want to get back in it, and I didn't want nobody knowing where I was, who I was, or nothing. I didn't want a bunch of people there.
Yeah. So that's no
honeymoon.
And
they're right.
We just come back to Deepsouth.
Yep.
And went back to work that afternoon, just like nothing had happened. And then the church gave us a reception about 2 or 3 weeks later.
Yeah, and then the family gave
Then my family, I didn't know it, but they said, are you coming to the family reunion? I said, yeah, we plan on coming. They said, okay. So then my girls called again the week of the family reunion. Are you coming to the family reunion? I said, yeah, planning on it. I said, okay. I didn't know why they were asking. When we got there, they surprised us with a wedding cake, a huge reception, and a shower all in one.
Yeah.
So we had 2 receptions, actually. My dress was a blue dress. If you've seen
some of the videos, it's in some of our videos.
We actually redid for pictures a year later. Our first anniversary, our neighbor, Donna, she came over, spent the day with us. She's a photographer, and she took pictures. I had on the blue dress that I got married in. Danny had the shirt that he had. It was blue with a stripe in it. And you'll see us in a lot of the videos of our anniversary videos. When you see me in a long blue dress, it was mid-length. And you'll know that there was a bunch of pictures all in the same outfit. That was what we were married in. And Donna took those pictures. And so we have pictures a year later.
Catherine says, I never cut my cake. I painted.
Oh, in my sister's wedding, my brother passed out. The preacher was going too long. And in my brother's wedding, a couple of them almost passed out because the preacher was going too long.
Let's see.
All right, where are we at?
Let's see here.
All right, Sky said if it felt wrong, he wouldn't do it and he wouldn't marry us kids, but he did marry my 2 girls. I guess she's talking about something.
Yeah.
I missed something there, I guess. Talking about somebody, a preacher, I guess.
Her daddy's a preacher.
Okay, that's what I was figuring. All right,
Yeah.
so what else?
No, Lana, Miss Lippy's not going to join us tonight. Miss Lippy's not feeling well.
Yes, we want to remember her in prayer in a little bit. Empty Hamlet did do a video on us talking about our story. It's called Grounded series, I think.
Yeah, it's called the Grounded series.
If you go to our page, Deepsouth Homestead, and scroll down toward the bottom, I have some videos, several types of videos. Grounded series is one of them. Everybody should watch that. They would learn so much more about Danny and I by watching that video.
Yeah,
that was probably one of the best things, except I cried through half of it, and he had to edit out a good bit. Oh, it was very difficult.
Learning to Live Texas Homestead, thank you. Did you propose holding a stalk of Danny corn to show your worth?
I don't know. Did you ever even propose exactly, other than, hey, do you want to get married?
I asked you, I said, did you want to get married? Well, y'all got to understand, Wanda and I talked for 2 weeks before we ever met face to face. And we basically got to know each other over the phone.
And then we were together, what, 3-4 months before we actually
there's a
got
lot
married?
of legal issues we had to deal with
Yeah.
before we could actually get married. So we were around one another for, I'd say, probably a good 3 months. Well, from May till July.
Yeah, about
That'd be
3 months.
about 3 months, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Quiet and simple. There was no music. There was no nothing.
No, nothing. It was actually in the pastor's office.
Yeah, it was.
We got married in the pastor's office. Yeah.
It was, yeah. So, tonight we're about at the halfway mark. So, one thing we want to do is what was it we're going to ask? Because we wanted to ask something. We've been on YouTube now.
What is
8.5 years, 8-9 years, something like that.
Yeah, well, since 2015. What is our most viewed gardening video? About.
Yes. So let's see who. Miss Allison. Well, I didn't tell her and Lippy because I knew Lippy wasn't feeling it. Is Danny cheap or Wanda? Danny was very, very frugal when we met. Danny's got to where he ain't frugal no more. I'm the one that spent more money when we met, and now I'm the one that's sitting there going, I don't know. And then sometimes I'm one that just buys.
Is that so right?
No.
The very first, what? How do we word that now? Okay.
That's it. I don't see it yet. Wait, let me have it and run back.
I'm running back.
Run all the way back to the beginning because I had to see who's the first one. Keep going. Keep going. We ain't got there yet. You gonna? All right,
Oh,
right
right
here. Now move your hand and let me run it real slow so I can see what I'm looking for.
I don't see it right there anywhere.
I don't want to jump because I don't want to miss it. All right. Now explain to them why I'm doing this while I'm looking, so we're not just dead space.
Well, we're going to give away something, and I don't see any of them.
Somebody somewhere. Our most
viewed gardening video.
Don't be banging the table.
I'm sorry.
He loves to bang this table, y'all.
It's just bred into me.
Our most viewed gardening video. I was trying. It skipped on me.
I don't see it anywhere. Come on people, our most viewed video that has to do with the garden. Maybe that's a better way to put it.
I do still mow the grass. Our most viewed, it has 1.2 million views. It was actually done last year. We only have about 4 or 5 videos that hit 1 million.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be that hard to find.
It's wow.
Oh, it jumped. Oh. Everybody's going crazy, but
I don't see it anywhere.
okay, that's not it exactly. Well,
yes, it has it in it. Yeah.
okay, so
Keep going backwards and let's see if that's it. I got the name. I got the name.
let's see. Somebody will get it in a minute while I'm looking, but we've got the first one that actually, I remember these, I think.
Yeah, I remember those.
So it's
Yeah,
not.
it's not. Oh, no.
Okay, that one.
That one.
Hold on to that one.
Okay.
I think that was it.
I think that was it. I don't see it yet. That has to be it.
All right, I'm going to say that's it because we ain't seeing it no further back. All right, it was
3B Homestead.
send me an email, deepsouthhomestead@gmail.com, and we will send you. Let me see if I can show
See
her.
if you can show them.
Now the first one, I don't know what I'm sending you. You're going to get a surprise gift. That Danny, if you send me an email. Let me find where.
You can stop now because we already got 3B Homestead. 3B
Yes.
Homestead. This is the shirt that we're going to be sending.
I need to know your size and an address. It says garden like your life depends on it, Deep South Homestead. And I don't know if you can tell, but the hands are holding dirt with a plant in it. It looks good up close, but on that it doesn't look as good.
There's a lot of white washout on
Yeah.
that. But
okay, so what's the answer? The manure in the garden.
The
what we
manure in the
don't-
garden. About Grazon, when we was talking about Grazon.
Yes, I see more
Yeah.
are getting it now.
Yeah.
The septic tank is actually our biggest, but I was saying in the garden.
Yeah,
our
we had to
gardening
do
video.
that had to do with the garden. Yeah.
So it was the Grazon in the garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other one we will do in a little bit.
Okay.
All right, any more questions? We got
right.
through how we met and when we got married. We got 11 more years to go, y'all. We'll be here a while.
Oh, man.
All right.
Danny, how will you water your garden without power? Well, that's kind of simple. I don't water it now, so I don't guess I will. Now, what we did do in the past is Wanda and I would take 5-gallon buckets from the pond, and we would actually take them over and we'd water the garden with 5-gallon buckets. But
We do still hold hands on occasion. We held hands a lot when we first got married.
we did.
And
I was
we still
afraid
do.
she'd run off. I wasn't gonna let go of her.
No, that's probably true. What are our plans for the sheep?
They're all gonna be butchered. We're buying them. These are not being bought to raise sheep from. They're all males, and we're gonna butcher them.
All right. Who has the most patience?
That's a good question.
I would say we both are.
We're both pretty evenly matched in that, I think. I think Wanda may have me beat because I can lose my patience pretty quick.
Yeah. I don't lose my temper very often.
Wanda doesn't hardly ever lose hers. I mean,
I don't yell, scream, throw temper tantrums.
No, I don't yell and scream and throw temper tantrums.
No,
my past comes out in me.
You
sometime.
did in the past. I did not.
Yeah.
Only if somebody gets up in my face do I actually get angry.
Yeah.
And throw fits. Now I can yeah, but I don't yell or scream when I'm doing it.
No.
And
I don't yell. It's just that I go into my commanding voice.
This deep voice.
My voice gets very deep when I commanded. I had this certain voice I used.
It sounds.
It
horrible.
scares the heck out of most people. It intimidates a lot of people because I can get very intimidating, and that voice comes back. And
okay, I lost my questions. It said, "What or who?" All right. How or who determines what animals you have? From the beginning.
It's always pretty much.
Nope. It was.
It was me in the beginning.
Because he said, well, if we could get chicken, because he knew I didn't like animals.
Yes, I knew Wanda she doesn't like animals, period.
And he said, if we can get some chickens, we'll have fresh eggs. And I said, okay, whatever, but you're taking care of them. And within a couple of years, I was taking care of all the chickens. And then he started well, I just want a pig. And the neighbor had some pigs, so he got a pig. And what came next? More pigs. And
more pigs.
And turkeys. Another neighbor had turkeys, so he got turkeys. And
we got sheep.
And I told him one day, I said, a friend of mine, Brittany, has rabbits. I said, I want rabbits.
Yep.
And he said, we ain't got nowhere to put rabbits. I said, I done told her we'd take some. And he says, well, we ain't got nowhere to put them. And so he had to jump out and make cages right quick because we were going to meet Brittany and get rabbits the next day. And I think then we got some from a guy somewhere around town. No, it wasn't Brittany that we got them from. It was that guy. We ran over to his house. He had a whole bunch of rabbits. So I got the rabbits. And then Brittany, did we get one from her or did she come get one from us later? I don't remember. Anyway, Brittany comes to mind.
I don't remember.
And then he got turkeys. He got the sheep. I wanted the goats.
Yeah.
And so we went and got a couple of baby goats. And then we kept them probably nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
And then we had somebody that had 5 boys. She came, got all our goats. All the boys had a goat apiece by that time. And Danny wanted cows because he always loved his cows. So
when me and my wife that passed away got married, I had a herd of cattle. And because of the marriage situation, the way it was, I had to get rid of all the cows. And I lived for 10 years with Debbie before she passed with no cows. And I really missed my cows. And when Wanda and I got married, a couple of years into the marriage, I told her, I said, I'd like to get my cows back, but I'd like to go with the miniature breed. And we were at the fair. Remember, we was at the fair.
Yeah.
And there was this little black cow.
He was so
a little black bull in the petting zoo. And I kept looking at that little black bull and I said, man, that looks like a Dexter. And I actually, come to find out, I knew the guy who owned him. And
he was standing over to the side.
Yeah, and I asked him, I said, is that a Dexter? And he said, yes, it is. I said, I will buy him right now. He said, he ain't for sale.
Danny said, come on.
I said, come on, man, sell me the daggone bull. Sell him to me now. And he's like, nope. He says, I'm not selling my bull. And then about a year later, almost a year later,
Yeah, Dexter was about a year old when we got him.
he called me and asked me, did I still want that bull? And I told him, I said, yes, I still want him. And he said, well, I will deliver him to you for this amount of money. I said, bring him on, you know.
And we lost him in the field the next day. Danny went out there and he said, that darn bull's got out. The grass was so deep in the field that year.
Yeah, the grass
that it was taller than Dexter was.
Our grass was like 4 foot deep, and we couldn't see him. He was standing. He didn't have to bend his head over to eat. He just reached his head up. He just ate it at head height.
All right, so Sky wants to know what is our favorite memory that the two of us have made.
Our favorite memory that we've made?
Purchasing Pecan Grove.
That, I have to say, the purchase of Pecan Grove would probably be it's the one thing that we both have wanted for so long. I used to own a bunch of land years ago and had to get rid of it, and then I've always wanted it back, and Pecan Grove was having it back, and it was mine and Wanda's dream.
And we're still working on that dream.
We're still working on that dream for sure.
And we're transitioning to Pecan Grove. We've gotten a lot of things done. We've gotten a lot of things in place, but it's a job every day. A lot more than y'all realize because we don't show it on YouTube. But we ask that y'all would go over to Pecan Grove and subscribe. The channel Pecan Grove.
Yeah.
I realized today I did not open up all the older videos that I was opening them up one or two along when we first started Pecan Grove, and I didn't open them all. So I may have to, there may be a deluge of videos next week that shows you a lot of things that I forgot to open up over here or over there on Pecan Grove. What do we like to do for fun?
Oh, that is a very good question.
Fishing.
I love fishing.
We've had a lot of fun fishing.
We have.
Just riding around. Especially since having Pecan Grove.
Pecan Grove, I think it's just mine and Wanda's time together on the Ranger or the Kubota. Just riding around, looking at our accomplishments and talking about what we want to do in the future, new goals, you know, talking about a new home, you know, the high tunnels, the shops, the different things that we, you know, what do we want to fence for the cows? What are, you know, where would we like to plant fruit trees? You know, things of this nature.
Cindy Farmer said her favorite video was when the two of us danced in the rain. That was fun.
Well, that's because it had no rain in months.
And it was, we were so dry that year. So having drought down here is not unusual.
It's not uncommon, right?
Probably every 2 years, 3 years, we have a pretty good drought. Last year was the worst we've ever seen it, absolute worst. And that year was bad, but last year was
even worse, yeah.
And this year we've had periods, but we've had a lot of rain, so we're thankful. I think North and South Carolina was getting our drought this year. Do you have a favorite food or meal?
Yes, we have a favorite food. Bacon. Homemade bacon. We don't care nothing about store-bought bacon. But
I bought some at Julie's this week.
Yeah.
That thick sliced. So we had
she did, not me.
One of our cows processed, and we picked it up, and I had looked at the bacon when we dropped the cow off, and I'm like, I can't pay that for that bacon. Oh, it's too expensive. And it has the nitrites in it, which he does not eat the nitrites. I
don't eat no nitrites, no. And
so I said, I'm not paying that for that bacon. And when we picked the cow up, Chris was with us, and Chris says, he said he went and looked at it, and he put it back. He said, no, I ain't paying that for that bacon. And after a while, Chris says, he went and got he said, I got to do this. And I looked at him, I said, so I got a pack of bacon too. I think we paid $7, $8, $9 a pound. I don't know.
Which is really cheap compared to other parts.
It might have been $9 a pound.
Which is cheap compared to other parts of the country.
And it was the thick bacon. And I fried up 2 pieces yesterday. And I was like, oh, I missed our bacon so bad. But we plan on having bacon this year.
Hopefully.
All right, let's see where. I'm trying to not run it too.
Yeah.
Will you be digging your new pond at Pecan Grove deeper and getting more fish? We did dig it.
We have already dug our pond a lot bigger and deeper, and it's already stocked with huge fish already.
We are not moving the cooler to Pecan Grove.
No.
Once Deepsouth sells and reconnected. Let's see. What will you do when you can no longer cut hay for the winter feed?
We'll do what we did in the beginning if we're financially able. We'll just buy it, and if it becomes to the point where we're too old to even do that, then we just won't have hay. We get rid of the cows, and we'll just let the land grow back up in timber. I'll have it planted back in timber, and we'll just turn it back into a forest or whatever.
When are you going to break down and raise more pigs so you can replenish your bacon? We have somebody raising one for us. We did this before and it worked out fantastic. And right now, being in a building process and a remodeling process all at one time, we didn't want to take on any more animals, but he committed to the sheep. And so this guy's taking care of the pigs, and we're going to have the sheep possibly maybe this next week or so. It's according to weather.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with weather and how fast I get a shelter built. Everything else is ready.
Love Runs Rampant says, will there be any more videos on Crazy Days? I have really been thinking about that. Once we the last year and a half has been really hectic, and it's been hard for me to keep up. And it's been hard to keep a lot of videos going. But Crazy Days is something I've been thinking about. And so possibly in the future, I will resurrect Crazy Days with something. It may not be very often, but it'll be something.
This one out here. How often do you eat fish?
Not as often as we'd like.
Yeah, we don't
Once
eat fish
ever so often.
We don't eat fish as often as we'd like to.
We don't take the time to go fishing like we did. When we first had the ponds, we fished a lot. Last year, the front pond turned over. It got too hot.
It got too hot, and the water turned over in the pond. We lost a lot of the catfish out of it.
But now they've grown back up. The grandkids were here. They caught some out of the back pond.
Caught brim.
Brim.
Yeah.
And then at Pecan Grove, they caught some catfish. So at Pecan Grove, we have lots of catfish. So we had catfish, 3 or 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, we did.
And so we will be. We can eat more often, but it's just taking the time to clean the fish. We don't mind catching them. It's cleaning them and then cooking them. I don't like cooking fish. Danny cooks the fish.
Hey Sue says it. It went away. Where'd it go? It jumped. Oh man.
Where? I don't know. How far back? Is it that far back?
We missed our super chat too. It jumped somewhere.
Yeah, well, somebody gave us a super chat when it jumped, and
I think it's further back the other way.
Okay.
I saw Joey here somewhere. He asked a question.
All right, right here. JT West?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
Hey,
There's
there.
Jesus right there.
Okay, have you ever tried beef bacon? We've had some better than others, but the good stuff is wonderful. Yes, when I was kosher, I ate a lot of turkey bacon and beef bacon, it's different. It takes a little bit of getting used to.
All right, JT said, Joey said he's at the last night at the Outer Banks, and then they're heading home. So he's still on vacation.
They're still on vacation. Out there enjoying the rich people's life, running around out there on the shores of North Carolina.
Oh.
There's a super chat right there.
Okay, learning to live, Texas Homestead. I only have an acre, but I dream of 5 to 25 for high tunnels, aquaponics, hydroponics, and Vago raised beds. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the super chat. But you know, Learning to Live Texas is all goals are achievable. It just depends on how hard you want to achieve it. You know what I mean? Like Wanda and I, we saved and saved and saved for years. We knowing one day we was going to buy another place, and the Lord, the Lord made it available, and when
we
He
had
did,
yeah, we had something in mind, both of us, and we even wrote down on paper the things he wanted, the things I wanted. We had everything written down, and when we'd look at a place, it just don't look right. It don't feel right. There's something
yeah,
about it. It would be. I said we can make it home if we want to, but it would be either the neighborhood or it would be something
yeah,
about the place just didn't feel right. And I had a little house in my mind. I knew what I was looking at on the property. He had a barn in mind. He didn't not necessarily the style barn. He just knew he wanted a barn.
yeah. I said
And
the
I
property.
wanted a cute little house. And we just kept looking 5 years and didn't find anything. And was in Walmart, and Danny came across the guy that owned this property, and he said, "Look, if y'all are ever interested in selling, I'd like to come by and look at it." And he says, "Well, we've talked about it." So we came over, and when we hit the driveway, y'all have seen that long. If you've been over to Pecan Grove, you've seen the pretty long driveway. I told Danny, I said, "Stop." I said, "This is it." I knew immediately when we pulled in that driveway.
Right.
I said, "This is the property." And he said, "We ain't even got to the property. This is a driveway." And I said, "I know, but this is it. This is what I seen in my head." And when we back then, all the trees were so overgrown that you couldn't see the little house that was already here. And when we rounded the corner, I saw the little house, which we allowed Mr. D to stay in. We're not living in the house. I said, "That's it. That's the house." And we've not shown the house out of privacy for him. But when we saw the barn, Danny "Did you remember the barn?" You remember
Yeah, I
the
remember
barn.
the barn from years ago.
So he already knew the barn. And when we saw those big oak trees, Danny has always wanted the live oaks. He planted live oaks on his property before and then went through a divorce.
Yeah.
And so he knew he wanted live oaks. And when I was walking the property, I found pecan trees, little bitty pecan trees, wasn't very big. And I said, "Wow, I didn't see the big pecan trees because they were hid with the woods." And I said, "We're going to name this Pecan Grove if we get it," because he wanted pecan trees. And then we found all the big pecan trees, so I named it really well.
Thank you, Lorene. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Yes, Miss Lippy is very sick. She's not doing.
Yeah,
she's got to go back to the doctor this week again. So now.
All right, we got 7 minutes.
Okay, we'll ask the other question about life-changing events.
I forgot what it was now.
All right, so y'all, we've talked about us for a while. What is the best marriage advice? Well, to at least agree to disagree.
That was Wanda and I agreed to disagree. We're never going to fight. We just made our mind up. We're too old.
Yeah.
Everybody says, "Yeah, but you can't make up if you don't fight." Well, I'm like, I've made up.
We make up enough.
We make up enough like it is. I mean, and I'm told, I said, I fought my whole life. I don't want to fight no more.
I did too. I mean, I was in a crazy marriage and I didn't like that. And so I'm like, I won't argue with you.
Nope, we're not going to argue.
And not to say that at some point he'll look at me and he'll start to say something and he goes, or I'll look at him and I'll start saying something and I'm like, never mind. So we've agreed not to sit and fuss about things. If he says something and I don't like it, I'll say why I don't like it. And then we'll just walk off and leave it alone a while, and then we'll come back and we'll decide, do we do it or do we not?
Right.
And it's always been, I guess, easy because we don't argue to start with. Both of us go away, think about both sides, and we come back and that's how it just always works out.
Yeah.
My blood is doing really good right now. What was the question we were going to ask them was, what was their LCE?
Oh, yes,
So-
yes. We want to give away something, and I want to ask a question, and I want you all's opinion of the question.
Their answers.
I want your answers to this question. And I want it to be in just like 2 or 3 words, okay? I don't want no book wrote, and I don't want no sentences wrote, no paragraphs or anything like that. But what was the most challenging LCE for your life? I mean, was it a death? Was it a storm, a tornado,
Something else.
a divorce? You know, I mean, what was your most challenging LCE in your life? We'd like to know. I mean,
Yeah, it helps us get to know y'all a little better.
okay, mother's death, cancer, death of a son, divorce, cancer, Hurricane Katrina. Slow it down. There you go.
All right. Let Danny read these because this is his choosing. You see anything yet?
Oh boy, jumping.
It jumped, didn't it? It's hard. Okay, we're back again.
Yeah.
Oh, it's jumping.
Oh, good Lord.
You just go ahead and take it and go back and just pick. Okay. You just go ahead and pick somebody. That's harder than he thought.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no. Years ago when we first started YouTube, everybody was using that SHTF. And that means when shit hits the fan. I'll just say it.
Yeah.
And Danny goes, I don't like saying that. That just doesn't, it, you know, we just didn't like having to say that all the time. And everybody was talking about SHTF. Is that what it is? SHTF.
Yeah.
And all the preppers were using that and all this stuff, and all the homesteaders were using those terms, and Danny says, I don't like that. So he started on Porch Time talking about an LCE, a life-changing event. And he didn't make that term up, but he was probably the first person to use an LCE in terms of homesteading and prepping and things like that. And we had t-shirts made up several years ago with LCE on it, and we may have sold a few, but we didn't sell very many, I don't think. And so Danny's daughter Carrie has a shop on Etsy, and she's working to get it all up. She's got some things up now, but she's having to deal with Etsy with the money part of it, getting it straightened out and everything working like it's supposed to. So she hoped to have it up tonight, but I think the site is up. You just can't order from it yet. It's called Rustic Charm Fields, and it's on Etsy, and she has a Facebook page, I guess you would say. And you can see the t-shirts and stuff. Later we will have tumblers and hats. She did a wonderful hat. I don't know if I have it, but I was going to show you the t-shirt when Danny gets through. But she did a hat, and I'll show y'all that later if I can think about it. So which one?
I think that one. At home. Yeah, you can. A lot of things can, but not having a home.
Melissa Visconti.
Yeah, Melissa Visconti.
Send us, and we will send you this t-shirt. The life-changing event from Deepsouth Homestead. And Carrie will have the t-shirts up and ready to order soon. And over on Pecan Grove, we hit 20,000 yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be doing some giveaways there. Y'all have seen the composter. We're going to be giving that away one day this next week. We'll do a video and talking about that and who's going to be getting a composter. We're going to be giving away some Pecan Grove shirts. And
Screen shoot that right there,
which one?
so we don't forget it.
Okay, hold on, y'all. He's wanting. Okay.
Okay.
And let me get back to the bottom now, because so many. All right. So we are going to be giving away some things over. I don't know what all. We haven't even thought that far, except for some T-shirts and the composter. Just not sure yet what else we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Where are we at? They still.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you what. Sitting here looking at that rolling by.
That's.
Yeah, a lot of y'all have had a lot of hard roads.
Yes.
And I mean, I've walked a lot of the roads that
Now,
y'all
I like
were mentioning.
this one. Hold on. Hold your thought for a minute. Tiny Steading said, my best LCE was accepting Christ at the age of 11. That is a life-changing event, a good life-changing.
That's a good life-changing event.
I love that. Thank you for bringing that
Thank
about.
you for bringing that out.
But
the fact that everybody thinks of a life-changing event as being something horrible, but there are good life-changing
like
events.
Our getting together was a wonderful life-changing event.
It was great when Wanda and I got together, because after my wife passed away, I was in my 50s, and I said, what person's going to want some guy in his 50s, you know? And the Lord brought Wanda right into my life. I mean, it was amazing how that happened.
Danny has not harvested all the Danny corn yet. He's still working on it.
No, I'm working on it like crazy. Biggest issue is I have nowhere to put it.
Yeah, and so, you know, a lot of you guys have had multiple, I mean, there more life-changing events than I even thought about.
Yeah.
And so.
Hey, Jen, Mike. Yeah, after looking at all the comments rolling through, I mean, guys, a lot of y'all have walked a lot of hard roads. A lot of them really touched my heart, because I've walked some of the same roads that a lot of y'all have walked, and Wanda has too.
Mm-hmm.
And it lets me know how resilient we can be to different tragedies when they come our way, if we just focus on the Lord and keep our eyes on Him. Lots of people think it's the end, when really it's not the end. Many times it can be the opening of a new chapter in your life, or a new way of looking at life, a new appreciation for life, and make you more thankful than what you were before. And it was very touching. Thank y'all for putting up your LCEs. I really, really appreciated that.
Yeah, and there's going to be more LCEs for all of us in the future. I mean, you can't get through life without having something that changes your life, sometimes almost every day. But major life-changing events happen to all of us on a regular basis. So that's one thing.
And many times, now understand this, many times LCEs are brought into our life by the Lord Himself, because He wants to grow us, and He wants to make us more faithful. He wants to make us where we love Him even more, because He wants to nourish us and take care of us. And if we're too stubborn, like me 90%.
Okay, I was going to see if I could find.
Okay, we're at our 9 o'clock mark.
I was going to show them the hat if I can find it right quick. Oh, that's a tumbler. Okay, this is the hat.
Okay, this is a new hat that we're going to be putting up on the site.
See if I can get it where.
Get it on up to the camera there.
How's that? The Pecan Grove. And we're using the Bluebirds. Danny and I have loved the Bluebirds since the beginning. And there's Bluebirds here at Pecan Grove, just like at Deepsouth.
Yeah.
And I am going to be decorating with Bluebirds, using that as a theme. I know some people have asked what we plan on doing with the house and things like that. Bluebirds is going to be brought into our theme. A lot of black iron. What is the other? what is that color called?
I've been reading comments here
Like
as much as I
handles
can.
and things like that. What is that color called? Faucets, all of them, the color. It's not
Oil rub bronze?
oil rub bronze. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the color that's going to be in a lot of stuff.
Okay, we're gonna she's got a couple of minutes, a couple of little details to work out on her Etsy store, and once she gets that worked out, we're gonna have them up and running.
Yeah. We do plan on selling Deepsouth Homestead. That's been our goal. That's why we put so much into the infrastructure, like
Yeah.
new roof and new air conditioning and building the new barn and all this stuff. Everything was in hopes that when we sold it, it would be a place putting in the ponds and stuff that somebody would want.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. I guess it's time for us to pray.
and we want to remember Miss Lippy.
Yes.
And everybody else. There was other prayer requests in here off and on.
Yeah, I've been sitting here looking at everyone. And the key is we need to all pray for one another. Not necessarily just one, but we need to pray for one another.
All right, Sue Miller wants to know, will we be changing the P.O. box? No.
No, the P.O. box.
All that stays the same.
Everything stays the same. Okay. Father, we come to you tonight, Lord. Our hearts have been touched here tonight when we asked for people to put up some different life-changing events that happened in their life. Father, as I sit there and watched everything go by, I suddenly realized that we have a special group of people in our live stream here. Lord, a group of people that are very resilient, people who've stood the test of this old world, and yet they're still here, Father. And Father, I want to praise you for that, and I want to ask that you give each and every person who put up their LCE tonight a specific blessing in their life. If they're having any kind of issues overcoming the problems that their LCE brought in their life, then I'm praying that you will give them the strength and the ability to overcome it now, and give them the grace and the mercy that they need, and the strength, and most of all the peace that passes all understanding when there's things that happens that they don't understand why they happened. Many times things happen to our bodies and to our lives, and we don't understand why. But in the end, many times as I look back and I glean on my own life, Lord, I realize that many of the things that you allowed me to go through was to make me stronger, to make me better, and to make me wiser than what I was, and to help get rid of some of the foolishness that was in my life. And I thank you for that, Lord. And I pray that the people who are going through the things that's happening in their lives, that you can help them also to realize that you're there for them, Father. Many times it's just simply to let people know that there's somebody there called their Heavenly Father that's there to take care of them. And many times we forget that. We think we're alone when we're really not alone. We have our Father who said that He's closer than a brother, and you'll never leave us, and you'll never forsake us. You'll always be there for us. And that's the one thing that in my own personal life I hang on to more than anything else now. Thank you for the chat tonight. It went well. Thank you for those that supported it. And Lord, also tonight, there's people that had unspoken prayer requests. Sometimes I want to pray for those that didn't even make a prayer request tonight, because maybe they were too shy, or maybe they thought, well, mine won't matter. Well, Lord, the thing about it is those are the ones that many times are the ones that matter the most, is because they're the ones that are most intimate, and they didn't want to mention it. Father, I want to ask that you also take time to look at those requests, even though they weren't made. And tonight, let's just bless one another, Lord. Let's take our eyes off of focusing on what's going on around this country and around the world, and put them back on you, because the old devil has a way of making us focus on this world rather than on our Heavenly Father now. So, take care of us. Most of all, forgive us where we failed you. We ask these things in Christ's name. Amen. All right.
Yeah, some of them are talking about the bluebirds now. The bluebirds were something that when Danny and I met, he had called Deepsouth Homestead Bluebird Farm. And when we first started putting videos on Facebook, about 9 years ago, I guess, we called it Bluebird Farm.
Mm-hmm.
And when we decided about, it was probably 8.5 years ago to do YouTube. Might have been, yeah, it's been 9 years. Is it raining? Maybe.
Maybe, I was hoping.
It's been right at 9 years since we started YouTube, I guess. And when we did, Danny, I said, well, let's put Bluebird Farm. And he said, well, nobody's got farm on their YouTube channel. Nothing has farm. Everything was homestead. And he was looking through the almanac, and it said Deep South. And where we're at was called the Deep South, and that was what he was looking at, the gardening on the Deep South. And he said, we are the Deep South Homestead. We are a Deep South Homestead, or something like that. And I said, well, that's the name, Deep South Homestead, and that's how we came up with it.
Oh, everybody's wanting a tip tonight. Oh, I'm going to give you a tip tonight, guys, and it's going to have to do with me, okay? Back in what I want to do is I want to use me as an example tonight about how easily we can get things wrong. Not necessarily wrong, but we can misinterpret something. And I'm going to go somewhere with this, so don't get lost on me, okay? Back in January of this year, I was told that I needed, if I was going to have a garden this year, that I needed to plant my garden very early, because we were going to go through the South was going to go through a massive drought. Well, if y'all watched us, you know that I planted my gardens while we were still getting frost. I planted my Danny corn while we were still in the 20s outside temperatures. And of course, it made. And guys, it's flooding right now every day here. You know, we've been probably one of the wettest Julys we've ever had. And I'm like, Lord, this person you led in my life told me that the South was going to go through a drought. Why are we not going through a drought?
Because last year was bad.
Because last year was bad and I was freaking out. Well, it's kind of funny how easily we can misinterpret something. The South covers a large area.
What people consider South.
What people consider the South. Virginia's considered the South. The North and South Carolina's considered the South. Missouri, Arkansas, all those are considered the South. To those of us, you know, on up through Raleigh, Durham, and on up in that area, y'all are getting some pretty good showers tonight. And it just made me realize just how easy it is for us to misinterpret something. Now, is the South going through a drought? Yes. Just not my part of the South is not going through a drought right now. Not to say that we won't have one later on, but right now we're not going through a drought. As a matter of fact, we could use some dry weather a little bit to get my corn harvested. But I said all that to say this. Many people have asked me about this attempt on the former president's life. And I use the analogy of the weather and how that I missed it, thinking that the South was only where we were at. How that some little details can get moved around and we really don't look at the big picture. Well, what we're seeing with the former president and what happened this past weekend with him, be very, very careful about forming an opinion right now, because you have to understand, if you're getting your information from the news on the TV, we already know it's a lie because
Half-truths
they
anyway.
they can't tell the truth because the three-letter agency controls the news, and the gatekeepers only allow you to know what they want you to know, and they're masters at being psyops. I, to an extent, do psyop, and I understand it when I see it. And I'm telling you guys, don't jump to conclusions because what you're seeing is not the truth. The truth will come out eventually, but it's going to be a lot further down the road.
Yeah.
Right now, they're making people believe what they want you to believe, rather than what's the actual truth. I've been watching a lot of body language stuff from those pictures, and because I used to do facial profiles, body language and facial profiles tells the whole story about the crowd that was around at that time. And just off of body language and facial profiles and things that I saw going on in it, I'm going to be the first to jump out there probably and say that everything that's been said is not the truth. You're going to find out that a lot of what was there is really everything that's been said, like certain agents are not who they are. You know, I mean, these are the kind of things that's going to begin to come out. It was a really big mess.
It was a big
it's an
rub up.
Well, it's an inside job more than likely, and so be careful about forming an opinion right now. Give yourself some time. Don't believe what the TV says, for heaven's sakes. Please don't believe the television, because the news is not accurate. Okay.
It'll come out eventually.
I was watching it when it happened, and immediately I told Wanda, I said, come here, look at this. These people right here are suspicious right now. They don't belong where they're at.
He's not saying that it wasn't a shot. That's not what
No. It was an actual shot.
He's talking about the people
I'm talking about the
around.
surroundings around it. This whole thing was a setup from word go.
Not saying that it was either party, but
no, I'm not blaming
him.
I'm not blaming a party.
Y'all,
As a matter of
y'all
fact,
don't jump to conclusions.
you're jumping
there.
to conclusions now, so don't do that.
That's not what
as a
he's
matter
saying.
of fact, you're probably going to find out it wasn't even have anything to do with the United States. But
okay, we need to let go of that.
But anyway,
quick, right?
I gave you the story of my life and how I jumped to the conclusion of the drought being where we were at, when actually it's going to be the Carolinas that went through the drought. And the sad part about it is, if the information I've got is correct, the Carolinas have not seen their hottest weather yet. It's still to come. And so don't jump to conclusions. Give yourself some time. Study, use some discernment.
And
I
look
think
at alternates, different. Not saying go to every alternate source, because some of them get a little whacked and they
Yeah.
throw things out before they know details, and then they have to come back the next day and recant that and tell you something else. If you do, some of these places will tell you different stories every day. Right?
Yeah. Well, the best way you're going to get some good information is listen to someone who's been in that line of work. You know, a former sniper or someone like that who that's been the detail of their life and they're retired now. They can tell you up front what should have been done. But anyway, I don't want to get off of the subject because if I don't, they'll be done something to me here.
Last week we even got our live demonetized.
Yeah, they demonetized our live last week because we talked too much about certain things.
Yeah. We kind of got demonetized, and it'll probably happen again tonight. So we're doing this for nothing, basically.
Yeah.
And we've had quite a few videos demonetized. Some of them pulled.
Yes.
So that's why we did Pecan Grove, and that's why we asked you to go over to Pecan Grove and sub over there, because that's where we're gardening, that's where we're going to be living, and Deepsouth will be Danny's porch time and our live streams, as long as they allow us to have the platform. And occasionally we will do videos on something that we're doing, whether it's the high tunnels or the fruit trees or the ponds or whatever, as long as we still own Deepsouth. So please go to Pecan Grove, and that's where our videos will be for the most part.
Yeah, so guys, don't jump to conclusions, because a lot of the I'm gonna use the term SS. A lot of the SS was not the SS. Okay.
All right.
Anyway, it definitely wasn't protocol. That's for sure. So guys, we love you. We appreciate you. We're gonna jump off of here tonight, and I hope and pray that y'all have a blessed week, and continue to watch us over at Pecan Grove, because hopefully we're going to be able to put up some different videos that will be educational, maybe some of them even entertaining on top of that. And
you get to see Candy over there.
You get to see the cows and how spoiled they are. And if we go get the sheep at some point, we'll show you that.
And we are giving away some stuff. So
we're going to be giving away some things, yes.
Y'all don't never know what Danny might even get Danny corn away.
I might just give some Danny corn away.
Are you thinking about that?
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about giving away some of it to some fortunate people, but I'll have to figure out, based on comments, who I'm going to give it to.
I know. Difficult thing.
That's difficult, because that means I got to read every comment, which I normally do that anyway. As a matter of fact, when y'all see the comments answered or get hearts and stuff like that, 99% of the time it's me. Yeah.
Yeah. He does most of that, because I don't have the patience for stupid people.
Yeah, Wanda can't.
Y'all's aren't stupid, but
but we get some stupid ones though. And me, I thrive on stuff like that. Wanda doesn't, because
I get sarcastic.
She gets wants to get anky, and I'm like, no.
And I apologize for the beginning of the chat tonight. Somebody said that they would they got on to me for changing my time to 8 p.m. when they've been watching pinball for 8 years, and that they said, so bye. And I'm like, you need to get your facts straight, because we've been doing live streams for over 8 years, and you can go back and check in my videos, and we've been 8 p.m. ever since. Pinball started 3 years ago at 8 p.m. So for those that want to jump my case about that, I'm sorry, but I got kind of yancy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get tired of people telling me stuff like that. And Danny says, calm down.
I told her, just calm down. And I was like, maybe they don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see y'all in the next videos, guys.